Hello everyone, and welcome to the Arithmetic with R lecture. This is going to be a relatively short lecture, just showing how to do basic mathematics with R. Let's go ahead and jump to RStudio. Alright, so here we are at RStudio, and since we're going to be just doing really basic math, we're just going to be using the console, so don't worry about writing an R script for this, unless you want to keep a history of what we've done. So I'm going to go ahead and push the console up so we can see it. And let me go ahead and just show you how to do some basic arithmetic with R. First off, just addition. Addition can be done with just a plus sign, and then you can almost use R just as a simple calculator, which is basically what we're going to be doing for this lesson. Go ahead and then click enter to run that, and you have 1 plus 2 is 3. Again, just the number, and another number, etc. And you can do this with floating point numbers as well, so that's numbers with a decimal in them. You can see that the decimals are added up, just as you would expect. Subtraction, as you might have guessed, is just going to be a minus sign. So you can do 5 minus 3, 2. Notice that you're probably going to want to try your best to use spacing for readability. So here I would say 5 minus 3 is more readable in the second iteration than the first one. The first one kind of looks like just 5 space negative 3, which is technically the same thing, the way R is going to read it, but you always want to make your code as readable as possible. For division, it's just going to be a slash, so that's 1 divided by 2, 0.5, and division is going to perform what's known as true division. So it'll perform division and keep in mind the decimals, so the remainders, etc. Alright, for exponents, or to the power of, you can use a little caret symbol, so that's above the 6 on a keyboard. So 2 to the power of 3 is 8. You can do, let's say, 4 to the power of 4, 256, etc. Alright, well, one other note is that order of operations is followed in R, as you would just expect it to be. So for example, if I said 100 times 2 plus 50 divided by 2, let's go ahead and put those together, I get 225. So order of operations is followed, meaning I'm going to do 100 times 2 first to get 200, then 50 divided by 2, since division is the next one up, which is 25, and then 200 plus 25 is 225. If I want to actually specify particular orders of operations, I can use parentheses. So for example, I could say something like 100 times, and with parentheses, designate that I wanted to actually add 2 plus 50 first, and then divide by 2, etc. Okay, so everything's working probably as you would expect it to, just basic arithmetic. The last operation I want to show is the mod or modulo operation, which basically just returns the remainder of a division. So for example, if I say 5 divided by 2, I'm going to get 2.5. So that means that 2 times 2 is 4, and I have a remainder of 1, right? So 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. If I actually want to get the remainder, I can use the modulo operation, which in R is 2 sets of percentage signs. So that can be read as 5 mod 2, and the remainder is 1. And all this is doing is just returning the remainder of a division. So for example, if I say 10 mod something like 8, I'll get 2, since 8 can only go into 10 once with a remainder of 2, since 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. So that's just going to give you the remainder in a division. This is really useful later on for checking if numbers are even or odd, or if they're divisible by a certain number, etc. Okay, hopefully that was all pretty straightforward. You can just review this lecture or the notes for this lecture in case you ever want to reference what the actual symbols or operations are for arithmetic. Okay, that's it. In the next lecture, we'll talk about some basic data types in R. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.